Hello, this is a BG's healer support build. It can work in open world, but BG's is where it shines by far. So this is the build. Now gear, I have body as seducers, triglyphs on all pieces for the seducers, impen on all. Now the helmet, earth gore for helmet and shoulders, divines on both has been working great. I don't have impen, so I've been using divines, and that has been working splendidly for me. Now I do have max health on both helmet and shoulders instead of triglyphs. That's because I need more of the max health instead of the other. So health on the helmet and shoulders has worked out great instead of triglyphs. Jewelry, spell power cure for the jewelry, magicka recovery, enchantment. The mace and the shield on the front bar are both spell power cure. Sturdy with a stamina glyph on the spell power cure. That has worked the best. Now the mace I put on powered, and I also just have an absorb magicka enchant that works fine. You can have either a restore stamina, restore magicka, or you can reduce the enemy's resistances. Either one of those three work perfectly well. I just currently have on the absorb magicka. I am going to be personally switching it to absorb stamina because that is the key to this build. Now milestone resto staff on the back bar. Milestone resto staff has actually worked best for me. The masters isn't as good in my opinion for this build, but you can do your own playstyle with that. So the stats before we get to the skills: 30k max magicka, 27k max health, and 12k max stam on the front bar, and 11k max stam on the back bar. 2.3k magicka recovery, health recovery doesn't matter, 500 stam recovery. Resistances on the back bar, 20k resistance for spell, 17k for physical on the front bar, 20k physical, and 23k spell without major protection with it. Goes up to 28k spell resist and 25k, nearly 26k physical resistance. Alright, so on to the skills. Now, front bar. I am using Restoring Focus. Restoring Focus is the better of the two morphs for this build because you do want that minor vitality as well as the minor protection. Now, Extended Ritual. This is by far, I have actually tested it with both of the morphs, and Extended Ritual is a must. Especially for BGs where you're going to get dotted a lot, so you want to purify those. And that is by far the best with Extended Ritual. Now, Stalwart Guard. You do require guard for this build. It is just too good to let go. It increases your damage for your partner by 10% for their crit damage, and of course it's guard beyond that. So Stalwart Guard is a requirement. Now, Reverberating Bash is also a must for this build. I have actually tried it with Solar Flare to give that nice little major to file, but Reverberating Bash is a must, even though the stam cost for it is quite high, and stamina is a very hard thing for this build if you're using Reverberating Bash a lot. So Breath of Life, of course, main Templar heal. It's a must on the front bar with the sword and board. This front bar is a must. I have tried it every which way. This is the best front bar. This is where you'll spend most of your time. And for the ultimate, Remembrance. I have tried quite a few ults. Remembrance is the best for this bar. I've even tried slotting Radiational Sweep for the extra resist, but Remembrance is the best for here. Now, for the back bar, the resto bar. Now, first things first, Purifying Light. Now, I have found that you can either swap that out with Eclipse or Radiant Glory, to each his own for that. Guard, of course, have to have it on both bars. Javelin, this is also the same. It's more personal preference. You can have Eclipse, Radiant Glory. Just pick which one is best for you. Rapid Regen. I have found Rapid Regen to be better than Mutagen for this build. It just works quite a bit better, but only by a little. Mutagen gives that nice safe little heal, but Rapid Regens does give more overall healing, and for this build it works best. Now, Healing Springs, this is another must for this build. It's your main AoE heals, and we all know how it works. Alright, so Life Giver. This is where a lot of people are going to differ on me. I like Life Giver better than the other morph for this build. The 30% reduced damage taken from the other morph I have found doesn't work as good as Life Giver in certain situations, so I ended up just going with Life Giver. For this though, to each his own, pick whatever morph you want, but the rest of all is required for this build. I have tried every which way, by far the best. Alright, now for this build I am an Argonian. Argonian is kind of required for this build, mainly because of the stamina recovery. You could use High Elf or some of the other Magicka races for it, but of course we all know now that it's changed, Argonian is better for healing. Alright, so that is the build going on to CP. Now, CP I have tried a couple different ways, but this has ended up being what I personally like. Alright, 34 into Warlord, 2 into Sprinter, 56 into Anarchist and Tenacity, 27 into Befoul, 31 into Tumbling, 24 into Shadow Ward, 56 into Blessed, 72 into Elfborn, and 75 into Elemental Expert, 27 into Staff Expert, none in the Ritual, 56 into Ironclad, 26 into Resilient, 43 into Hardy, 43 into Elemental Defender, 19 into Thickskin, 43 into Quick Recovery. Now, of course, for CP, you can go your own way, but after testing, I found that to be the best CP for it. Alright, so that's the build, and have fun in PvP.